Alright, so we're back, folks. And today we are going to discuss about the manifold. So you see, the manifold contains a hypersphere and a hyperball. And there's also a lot of scientists that believe that life cannot exist in higher dimensions due to low gravity. Well, the problem I got with that is that everything needs to have the same size as 3D planets, stars, and galaxies. Well, no, everything needs to be bigger, has more matter and things in it, and more complex laws of physics, and more complex life forms to fit in with those complex laws of physics. And also a bigger universe, by the way. And also, just like how a two-dimensional life form is less complex compared to three-dimensional life forms, a four-dimensional life form would be more complex than 3D life forms, basically. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's start with the manifold hypersphere. Alright, so, here's the hypersphere. For n plus 1 dimensional Euclidean space Rn plus 1, the hypersphere n sphere Sn of radius r and center C is the set of all points that are at the same distance r from point C, where d, x, and c is Euclidean metric for n plus 1 dimensional space. Examples: for two-dimensional Euclidean space, the hypersphere is a circle, one sphere. Alright, so if you're wondering, is that, you see, a two-dimensional being would view a circle as a sphere, while to us it's a circle. But a three-dimensional being would view a three-dimensional sphere as, well, a sphere. But a four-dimensional being would view a three-dimensional sphere as flat. Yeah, as just a circle, basically. So yeah, anyway, that's just the simple definition of how to comprehend and how the higher dimensional beings see a three-dimensional world, by the way. So yeah, basically. Alright, moving on. For three-dimensional Euclidean space, the hypersphere is a sphere. Two-sphere. Yeah, basically. And for four-dimensional Euclidean space, the hypersphere is known. Three-sphere. So yeah. So this is just about, explaining spherical things on higher dimensions, basically. So you see, a four-dimensional being would view a three-dimensional world as flat, a five-dimensional being would view our three-dimensional world as being a line, and a six-dimensional being would view our three-dimensional world as if it was a point. And so on above six-dimensional, and they would view our world as if it was infinitesimal, or higher dimensional worlds viewed by other higher dimensional beings that thinks they're a flat line and like a dot, etc., like that. So, like, if you're one-dimensional lower, that means that you're a line. But if you are two-dimensional, if you are 2 dimensions lower, that means that you're. If you're 1 dimension lower, that means you're flat. But if you're 2 dimensions lower, that means you're a line. And if you're 3 dimensions lower, you're a point, basically. So this is how higher dimensional beings that are 1, 2, or 3 times, 3 dimensions above 1 dimension, 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions more, 3 dimensions above than us see our world, basically. Or above, and then they would see it as if it was infinitesimal by comparison. Anyway, moving on. See also, so we got what is known as dimensionality. So a dimensionality is -1, 0, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's still a lot of these things, so I'll get into them later on. Alright, anyway, we'll move on. Oh god, I think it glitched. Oh, never mind. Alright, okay, so we're going back here. Sorry if this video got messed up for some reason. Okay, so now back to the hypersphere for a moment. Now, if you're probably wondering why I cannot explain this, it's because there's a lot of them, like, a lot of them. Like, you see this, basically? Yeah, so in between these things are just, aleph, null. And in between these things, there are near infinite or nigh infinite amount of dimensions. And yeah, basically, you see, like, nigh infinite is like 50% infinite dimensional, basically. And there is still more of these things right here if you want to press it or whatever. Or you can view it yourself in the First Dimensions wiki. And in the Aleph nodal, there is a hyperbolic or omega realm, and a Euclidean omega realm, and the omega sphere. Well, anyway, like I said, this is going to be complicated. Well, I didn't say that at the beginning, so yeah, this is already complicated for you guys. At least for some of you who are not math nerds. Okay, so yeah, this is the end, I guess. Sorry I didn't explain much about the hypersphere. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Alright, so we are in the hyperball. Let's discuss it. So the hyperball, oh, this is a lot of math, so you gotta get those brains ready, folks. So the hyperball n ball, the hyperball n ball is the space bounded by a hypersphere. So it's the same thing as the hypersphere, but different at the same time, I guess. So I don't know. For n-dimensional Euclidean space Rn, open n ball BNO of radius r and center C is the set of all points of distance less than r from point C, where dxc is Euclidean metric for n-dimensional space. Dxc equals NE I equals 1 and xi minus ci2, or just squared. For n-dimensional Euclidean space Rn, closed n ball B and C of radius r and center C is the set of all points of distance less than or equal to r from point C. Examples: for one-dimensional Euclidean space, yeah, it's an interval, and yeah, so it's almost the same thing as the hypersphere, but different at the same time. Alright, so we got the same thing. So we got dimensionality, simplex, x including in x or across for some reason, like an x, for instance, like, like an x. An x, basically. So we got a hydrotopes and a hypercube and a cosmotopes. Also, the cross section is a square, and the 3 is an octahedron. So yeah, basically shapes are more complex in higher dimensions, and there is still a lot of them. 11, 12, oh god. Okay, and we got more here, and an Aleph null. So the hyperball actually reveals more of shapes in higher dimensions, but still a little compared to what is in between 16 and Aleph null, basically. So yeah. Anyway, guys, so that's it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications, and peace out.